Welcome to this week's Saturday History and Travel Tip. For the next several Saturdays, I'm going to be talking about the cities that are under siege, the history in the balance. And we are going to start with the city of Seattle. We have visited Seattle several times and enjoyed it every time. Seattle is a seaport city on the west coast of the United States, which everyone knows, and it's the seat of King County. And it is the largest city in both the state of Washington and the Pacific Northwest. It was originally one of the gateways to Alaska during the Klondike Gold Rush, and it is known for the city where Boeing is headquartered. Great sights around Seattle can be found in my Unclassic Road Trip in the Western Edition. Visiting downtown Seattle is fun, and it's actually best done via the public transportation systems. One of those public systems is the ferry system. We boarded the MV Zelle from Bremerton. It is adjacent to the Puget Sound Naval Shipyard. This was the second time we went to see the sights in downtown Seattle. While traveling at 16 knots, we spotted hundreds of huge jellyfish gracefully swimming in the Sound and lazy sea lions sunning themselves on the marker buoys. The MV Zelle is one of 24 varying-sized ferries that service the vast Puget Sound region. Constructed in Seattle in 1982, this Issaquah-class diesel-powered ferry holds up to 1,200 people and 90 vehicles. Thousands of commuters choose the ferry lines instead of sitting in gridlock in the Sound's horrendous highway traffic. One author wrote that the city's freeways are often filled to capacity most of the day. This author can verify that statement. Countless boats and public transport ferries ship out of Seattle's 4-mile waterfront to many destinations, including Canada. On this veritable marine highway, the Washington State Ferries operate the largest ferry fleet in the nation, serving 23 million passengers. With around 1,800 employees and 20 ports of call, this is one of the state's top tourist attractions. My favorite ferry ride was taken at sunset between Edmonds and Kingston. Seattle might be sunny and it might be gloomy, but regardless, it's a fun place to visit. Seattle was named after Chief Sealth of the Squamish and allied tribes. We went to his grave, situated on the Port Madison Indian Reservation adjacent to Poulsbo, on our way to Bainbridge Island. Settled in 1851, Seattle is the economic and cultural hub of the Pacific Northwest region, and it is considered one of the country's most handsome cities. The Emerald City, as it is known, offers lots to do. Surrounded by the Puget Sound to the west and Lake Washington to the east, most of the state's population lives in and around the Sound. The ferry system drops off pedestrians and vehicles at the heart of downtown to quickly reach downtown attractions, walk or ride municipal buses. Wildly popular for pedestrians, Seattle is like a bumpy blanket on gobs of hills, which will no doubt make your calves scream by the end of the day. There are many sights, and walking is really the easiest way to enjoy the national park. Seattle Center attractions, Pike Place Market, Pioneer Square, and the waterfront piers. In one of the parks, we found this statue of Chief Seattle. How his name is said is found in different places, but we'll call him Chief Seattle. And it was so funny as there was a street person, and he kept putting bread on top of the chief's head so that the birds would grab the bread. We kept trying to take the bread down so we could take a picture, and he would sneak right up there before we could snap the picture and put the bread right back on top of his head. And here's a view walking down towards Pike Place, the public market. It is a multi-level complex and a Seattle landmark since its founding in 1907. Pike Place Market offers fresh fruits and vegetables, live seafood, homemade cheeses, fresh flowers, select coffees, and local crafts in the markets, restaurants, and shops. Overlooking the long waterfront, the 1930s era structures are on both sides of the street, which is jammed with cars and pedestrians, housing over 250 vendors. If your knees are up for it, walk down the steps of the Pike Hill climb to reach the piers along the waterfront. And here are some lovely pictures from Pike Place. The world's first Starbucks opened on March 30th, 1971 at Pike Place. Coffee fans will want to drink a latte from there even if the line is long. Originally, the Joe Maker sold only roasted coffee beans. The signature coffee was not brewed until 10 years later. As of 2015, there were 22,519 Starbucks stores worldwide. Sharing the Java stage with Starbucks Seattle's Best Coffee began in 1970 at Pier 70 and became a wholly owned subsidiary of Starbucks in 2003. So if you're drinking Seattle's Best, you're drinking Starbucks. We enjoy going to Pike's Place. It's a lot of fun. And of course, while we're there, we eat a Seattle dog. In the corner where this sign, the Public Market Center, is. Run down the stairs. Well, actually don't run, but go down the stairs right in the corner where this sign is, and you will find the gum wall. Be sure to have a piece of gum that you can stick on the wall. Pike Place Market Historic District. Under the provisions of the National Historic Preservation Act, October 15, 1966, this property possesses exceptional value in commemorating or illustrating American history. Placed on the National Register on March 13, 1970 by the National Park Service, U.S. Department of the Interior, Washington State Parks and Recreation Commission. And I just want to jump in here. This is a wonderful place, and as you can see, it's crowded, and I know that it can't be now, but this is one of the things that we need to get America great again. We need to get America back. We need to be able to visit Pike Place, and the hustle and the bustle and fighting the crowds is part of just the whole scene of being in Seattle and at Pike Place. We utilize the calf muscle saving 1 mile Seattle Center monorail. The ride is the fastest way to travel between downtown or Pike Place and Seattle Center, also known as City Center. Board the sleek space-age trams at Westlake Center at 5th Avenue and Pine, or adjacent to the Space Needle. It has been serving the tourist community as a complement to the Seattle Center since 1962. Designed with lots of windows and skylights to give full views along the ride. The trains depart every 10 minutes. Here's a picture from Wikipedia of building the Seattle Center monorail in 1961. Built on the 1962 World's Fair site, the contemporary 605-foot Space Needle at Seattle Center dominates the skyline. During the World's Fair, over 2.3 million visitors rode the Needle's elevators. A Blast Pass grants VIP status and the ability to bypass hundreds of people waiting in line and get immediately onto the elevator, which is a great perk. We visited before the major renovation and then afterwards. Perched at 520 feet, the observation deck is spectacular, providing 360-degree views of the Olympic Mountains, vessels crisscrossing the Puget Sound and Mount Baker and Mount Rainier in the Cascade Mountains. And fortunately, they are safely reopening with limited tickets now available. I am so happy to hear that. If you have the opportunity to see Dale Chihuly's work, take it. Honestly, it is indescribable. A native of Tacoma, Chihuly is a world-class artisan and sculptor who has studied the fine art of glass in Germany, Italy, and Czechoslovakia. His work spans 5 decades. The Chihuly Garden and Glass in City Center, adjacent to the Seattle Space Needle, showcases a permanent display including a 100-foot-long suspended sculpture, one of his largest. The subtly lit galleries and the outdoor gardens at City Center are filled with mind-boggling exhibits. His bold, bright, colorful, and unusual style is beyond intriguing. And I'm happy to report that they, too, are safely reopening, saying they're elevating clean. Another attraction at Seattle Center is the Pacific Science Center, a multi-level interaction facility. We particularly enjoy the saltwater tide pool, the insect village, and the courtyard waterworks. The warm and sunny tropical butterfly house is one of the best we have ever entered. We took a spin on the Seattle Great Wheel, which gives not exposed views of the Puget Sound. Riding in air-conditioned gondolas, the company guarantees 3 full revolutions. We were fortunate to visit on a light day and enjoy a longer ride in one of the 42 slow-moving, smooth gondolas. Standing 175 feet tall, it is the highest observation wheel on the West Coast. It opened in June of 2012. Seattle's 42-story Smith Tower was the tallest building west of the Mississippi River when it was completed in 1914. And you've heard of the term Skid Row? Well, it originated in Seattle. In Timber Town days, lumberjacks skid logs down the hill to Henry Yesler's mill via Skid Road, now Yesler Way. And here is a clip from the Wikipedia talking about the Alaskan Yukon Pacific Exposition and the Pioneer Square in 1917, featuring the Smith Tower. Klondike Gold Rush National Historic Park is comprised of 2 units. The sister site is found in Skagway, Alaska. Skagway served as the gateway to Dawson City in Canada's Yukon Territory and to the Klondike. It was amazing to be able to go visit this unit in Skagway. We visited the lower 48 unit on South Main Street in downtown Seattle, and the expansive Pioneer Square Historic District contains structures from the 1890s that served the Klondike Gold Rush era. An amazingly decorated time period general store overflowing with supplies such as candles, toolkits, evaporated apples, and soap is part of the park's presentation. Informative placards explaining Seattle's role as the staging area for the northwest-bound adventurers, along with authentic route maps, are hanging on the walls. However, the Klondike Gold Rush unit is not open yet. The outdoor area is. An unknown quote. Visiting Seattle, no matter what people say, it's likely that the sun will come out at least once during your stay. And here's a shot from one of the ferries as we left Seattle one beautiful sunny day. American history. Learn it, love it, appreciate it.